Have you been struggling with a body weight or self-image problem? Do you have pain in your body? Are you living with frequent colds or the flu? Or even worse, a diagnosed incurable disease? How would you like to hear that none of these issues are real? How would you like to hear that all of these problems are illusions, figments of your imagination, created by incorrect information and limited beliefs? In fact, it's my life passion and purpose to inform you that you don't have to live a life in lack or limitation any longer. I am here to say the poverty mindset can become a thing of your past. You can step into your abundance. You don't have to be controlled by fear or anxiety. You can fix or heal your relationships. You can raise up your energy. You can learn to love yourself. You can step back into the very best version of you. You can heal your life. It's totally up to you. It's your choice. It's your decision. You are the power that can do this. You are the creator of your life. Each and every single one of us has this power. We all have access to the infinite divine root energy that is available to each and every one of us. We can command and direct this power out into our lives. We all need to get the truth. We all need new information. We all need to overcome the brainwashing. Every one of us needs to stop the incorrect thoughts. We all must rise above the wrong, limited beliefs that we have accepted and allowed to form our current reality. The truth is, you have the power. You can lose the weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. The truth is that there is no pain or disease that is permanent. There is no circumstance that you are stuck in. You can overcome any situation that you wish to in your life. You can do it now. You can begin today. You do not need any pills. You don't need any potions. You don't need to buy any powders or any medications. You have everything that you need to change your life. Welcome to my weekly YouTube broadcast show about weight loss, about healing, and about improving performance in any aspect of your life. I'm your host, John DePass, the Melon Man.
Okay, so
Hello, everybody. I have a wonderful guest for you today, the Melon Man here, and I am with Maria Toot Toot, and she is living in Austria, and she is a mother of two young boys. How old are your boys, Maria?
my first son is 3 years old, and my second son is just a baby. He is 1 year and 1 month.
So she is juggling young children. And I spoke with Maria last year sometime. We've just met online through happenstance, and I was really intrigued by the lifestyle that she's been living, and she's progressed further into that lifestyle. Maria is a Bretharian level 3, and I am very passionate about this lifestyle. I am very intrigued and inspired by this lifestyle. It's drawing me, it's calling me. I've been moving in this direction myself, Maria, I believe, is much further along this continuum than I. And so I look up to her as one of my mentors, as one of my inspirations to continue moving in this direction. So she has totally accepted the pranic lifestyle, the pranic consciousness. She's eating now and drinking once every about approximately 7 to 10 days, or 10 to 14 days. She eats and drinks in that period there. So not very often, able to live for extended period of time without food or fluid. So I would like to share her experience, like how that happens, how she got into that, how we are able to do that. And I want to talk a little bit about the energy of prana and the energy that the breatharian lives with, because I think most of my customers are trying to lose weight, and they need to understand how they can live on less food, because obviously if you go on a diet and then you go back to eating your regular food, you end up gaining the weight back again. So, you know, there has to be a better way. And I think that's basically just moving to what is actually probably more true for us as humans, is that we actually need to learn how to unfood, learn how to live on less. And I think we can live happily on much, much less. And I think that's what we'll find today, sharing this time with Maria. Maria, can you first start off by just telling me and us, sharing with us how you got into this, how long you've been into it, and maybe how you moved from being an eater to now a very infrequent eater?
First of all, hello to everybody. Hello to you, John. It is an honor for me to be able to speak directly with you and through this video with all the other people who will watch this video. And in this way we grow together. In this way I myself am able to become more clear and express myself in this world in such a way that everybody can understand what I'm experiencing and what I'm saying. And now we just go directly to the subject. There are many ways from the point that I am now to answer your question. How did I end up from a eater to what I am now? I would say that to bring a little bit of ease to everybody, that the point in which one starts, it is the point which I call refinement. And that means when a person starts to change something in his diet. That may not be a conscious deepening into what he will reach after, let's say, 10, 15 years. But that is the beginning, and I call it refinement. And that is a very simple equation. It's just a gradual decreasing of from very dense structures of ingesting species, decreasing slowly throughout time, depending on many things, depending on cultural impulses, depending on their own spiritual evolution, depending on factors like family, like what boyfriend you have and what influences he has on you. There is an immense amalgam of fusion of it is a holistic thing in the end. It is just life making you to advance towards yourself through different experiences. So I would say that is the point which one goes on the journey towards finding who he is. And of course, food is very important, is part of this, and it plays a very big role. So this is one way to see it. Another way to see it, it is a little bit more conscious way. And that is the point where one gets informed or one gets in contact with a person that has been through this experience. Let's say a person who makes a process, or a person who had a process of what you said, eating less or not eating, or a movie or any information, and a click happens inside him. That is a conscious moment. And you could say that from this point, it's not necessarily refinement, but it is transitioning, because it is on a conscious level. And this I will start from here, because the other journey everybody is experiencing, more or less nowadays, everybody has started from eating animal species, and a lot of people nowadays are eating plant species. So this refinement is very well known through the people. So I will start with my journey. My conscious journey started 2 years ago. It was after I gave birth to my second son, and I was in the first part of motherhood, especially the breastfeeding part. And as a young mother at that time, I was single. I was alone with my child, and it was in the first 1 month. It was a very challenging time for me. I was all alone in the house with him. I was eating very little, because my mom instructed me to eat a specific way that I am introducing from one element at 3 days to see the reaction of my son. So it was I was eating quite very pure. I could immediately sense the sugar level in a banana or the sugar level in dates. So, and mainly I was eating just oats at that time. I think I ate oats 1 week. And then I was eating some baked apples 3 days. Then I was eating dry fruits 3 days. So it was, and very little, because I had no time. It was everything full chaos at that time. So in the house with him, trying to figure out how to be a mother and how to make my baby stop crying and to make him happy and to sleep in the same time, and cook also for myself. I saw a video about Victor Truviano, and it just clicked in me something. And I was very inspired at that time when I saw him, the way he was speaking. He was not necessarily speaking about not eating. It was also this topic involved, but it was much more than this. And I was fascinated, but nothing happened. So it was the click. In that moment in me, it was the click. My consciousness realized that this is something that I'm interested in, and this is something that I would like to get into more, but I couldn't even imagine that something like this would happen to me, or that something like that I would even try something like this. It's like I was fascinated by an outsider. And just to jump some steps, when my son was 1 year and a few months, 1 year and 1 month, I just woke up one day. So I was not in contact with any Bretharian field, any nothing, pranic, no, not in Facebook groups. I was not getting feeded day by day with this inspiration. I just woke up and I decided that today I will not eat. And for 9 days, this is what I call my self-initiation. It just went, with me, it's very natural. It just went one day after the other. I didn't say, okay, 9 days I don't eat. I just say, today I don't eat. I try to respect my my being by not forcing it, by putting it a limit. So I just say one day, because this is the minimum of time that I know I can honor myself. So, and in all these 9 days, even though I call it a self-initiation, it was not done alone, in the sense that I watched a lot of videos, so I got a lot informed from the people who are the main supporters and the main manifestors of the field. And this kept me in trust every day. This kept me informed. This is always easy when somebody talks about this, when somebody with already knowledge shares with you, even online. It is a big support. And of course, as I was advancing in this, I was also touching the limits of the unified consciousness, where I was assisted mainly by Victor Truviano. He is a Bretharian level 4, so his ability to maintain himself in a very high state of consciousness, which is known as theta field consciousness, and he's able to support without time and space involved. So, and even till this day, he's supporting me in this state of consciousness. And yeah, these were my 9 days where everything was okay. Although I was in a city, although I had to breastfeed my son and take care of my son every day and do normal activities like everybody, and it was very hot, and I didn't have time to rest. Like, you know, if you just want to rest now on the grass, I didn't have this possibility. Everything was okay. It was, you know, it was good. It was a little bit better than normal, let's say. A lot of energy, a lot of clarity in my mind. The thoughts were not running. The speed of my thought process decreased very much, because there was a lot of space. I didn't have to occupy it with 90% thought, food thought related. After these 9 days, my partner, he didn't agree, didn't like what I was experiencing, and I could feel this, and this created a very big friction, a very big tension, and he asked me to choose to start eating, or to more or less to renounce to my family and just go somewhere else and do my journey alone. And of course, my children, my partner, I wanted to stay with him. I wanted to stay all together. And I said, okay, I stopped. I was sad because I didn't felt to stop. This was my sadness, not because I reached somewhere and everything fell down, but because it was not my natural reaction. So I felt that I'm being conditioned by someone. But I learned love. I learned that it was not the time for me. I accepted it was not the time, and that I had to give importance to some other things in my life, such as family and partnership, and that yeah, this doesn't go away even if I don't do it now. So I learned patience and love. Time passed, and this was always inside me. It was always like a small fire burning inside me. But of course, I said, okay, I don't give any importance anymore. I just stay outside like an outsider, and I watch a little bit I watch a little bit the movement. I watch how people are into this field. I watch what is their experience, how they relate to this.
But you were eating still at this time?
After I have stopped, I started to eat. Yes, I
Yes.
started to eat normal, but mostly I was a healthy person. I always cherished my body, so I was a healthy person. But of course, if I felt if I felt to eat fast food, or if I felt to eat something, I always gave myself permission. Yeah.
So you
Although I
were,
have been,
when you say healthy person, you were eating mostly then, would you say mostly fruits and vegetables?
I think so. Yeah. I was also eating cooked food, but I never liked this. Since I don't like all this mixing, and I like to feel the taste of the food. So mixing and cooking with a lot of spices, for me, it's not working, because I don't understand what I'm eating, and it makes no sense for me. So most of the things, yeah, I always liked a lot of fruits. Um, yeah, but I think I was not giving a lot of importance to what I was eating. But I knew, for me, healthy means that I was always respecting my body. So I was always respecting my rhythm and my wishes. But my wishes were not to eat bacon and barbecue all the time. Not at all. No, it's not my. This is not my being. I was also in the past. I lived in India, so for example, I think I was I was vegan for, I think, 3 years. Then I went 1 year raw. Then I always tried. I always tried a lot of experiments. So I had the background history to know what my body wants and needs at the exact moment where I am, in that exact day, at that exact hour. I was not so much attracted to cravings.
How old are you, Maria?
Now I'm 27.
27. Wow. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Okay. So, I mean, I just want to go back over some of the things that I kind of wrote down here while you were speaking. I'd like to showcase, shine some light on that a little bit. You said the first thing that you removed was kind of the dense structures, the dense structured foods. You talked about, I think you talked about the beings, like stopping to eat
Yeah, I stopped to eat animal species.
animal species, the species, right? Right.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you think that that needs to be the first step, or why do you consider that the first step?
Uh, this actually, has nothing to do with nutrition in my case. It had to do with something what I call the compassionate field. When a person, so I have a perceived self in my life, and I have myself. And normally these two selves are quite at a distance from each other. And as they get closer one to each other, we start to enter into some fields which are not inside are outside of the separate field. So you don't feel separate anymore. You start to feel yourself more one.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this
This is
journey.
really great. This is really great. I'd like to talk about this. Can you explain that? You say there's two selves. There's two selves inside of each person. Would you say? Is that what you're saying?
As long as we are in the separate consciousness, yes, there is two self. It's the self that sees itself separate, but the self that it doesn't see itself separate is always there. And these two will be brought, or have to be brought as closer as possible, so that you are in your center and you don't feel so separate anymore, and you start to get in touch with who you are.
Ah, I like it. I do feel like that is what is exactly going on in my life. I relate to that completely. I feel as though I have my ego self, the self that I've always kind of thought of myself as, and that's kind of like my circumstances and my situations and my roles. I'm a personal trainer, I'm a coach, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a teacher. This is who I am. This is what happened to me. This is the story of my life. This is the traumas that have happened to me and the way that I am because of what's happened in my life. This is my personality. This is my ego. This is the identity that I've attached myself to. And then I'm realizing now that there is this other very powerful, more real part of me that's been, I think, suppressed the whole time. And I'm just learning about it and learning how to feel the energy of that and bring the energy of that me up and actually allow that part of me to engage in my day-to-day activities much more often. I'm able to now be more in presence with that me rather than the old reactive me. And I'm really finding that that's making me feel more happy and more energetic, and it's changing my energy, it's changing my desires, it's changing my thoughts, it's changing the way that I feel, it's changing the things I say, it's changing the things I talk about, it's changing my entire life.
And that's exactly correct. That is the journey to oneself.
Mm-hmm. It's like loving the self. It's like recognizing who we really are. It's being with the authentic self, the real, true energy that we are, the part of us that's connected to the whole. And once we start to shine that light, we start to realize that things can be completely different if we want them to be. Wow. Okay, so I am completely connecting with you here. Now, something else you shared, you talked about relationships. You talked about how your partner really wasn't on side with the fact that you weren't eating. And you talked about how you kind of got into an ultimatum sort of situation where you had to choose to eat or to eat or to leave. That's what I find people around us don't really accept, that we are inspired to reduce or stop eating.
For me, it is, I also have a very scientific self. So in this journey, even though I am very, I'm very intimate about what I'm experiencing, and it's very important for me to also not disturb the others with what I'm doing. I also have the capacity to stay a little bit outside and understand, not only from an emotional point, what the others are experiencing and why is this reaction in another person and why is there disturbance. And especially in romantic relationship, a woman and a man, they have a unified field. They have one field, exactly like in a energetical device. They work together. If you send energy, it passes through the other, and there is an entire mechanism. And they live together like this for years, and they get used with a specific type of sharing, with a specific dynamic. When one person undergoes such a drastic adjustment, because it's an adjustment on absolutely all levels, physical, emotional, mental, cosmical, spiritual. It is a complete makeover of everything. The other person does not recognize what he was used before to have.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is somehow painful.
Mm-hmm.
And if the other person is also not able to understand, for example, in my case, it took my partner 4 months to change from the word fasting to the word Bretharian. It took him 4 months time to accept that I'm not fasting and that this is an assumed lifestyle, natural for me, that I enjoy and that it benefits me. So also, as I am changing much more faster, but the partner also has to undergo the changes which are happening in the dynamic, in the energy machine that is running between both them. And it's not easy.
No.
It's really not easy for the other person, because he cannot understand what the other person is experiencing. He can only see some consequences. Okay, he's cold. He's so many stuff that, for example, I do not recognize myself. Why, for example, now the person? Why, for example, now? Yeah. Why, for example, now me? I am not active from morning till night to clean the house, do this, serve the entire family. Why now I am able to take some free time to meditate? Why? It's all this. Why is she changing? Why? I don't like it. I don't want. And because of this, the other person is trying all possibilities to bring back to the state that he knew before.
Yes.
And that requires to make the person eat.
Mm-hmm.
For him, that is what it requires.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, as I advanced, I realized that the most important is for the other person, even if he's not understanding, to try to accept that the person is undergoing some changes, which may be temporary or for a very long time, and just to support, but of course within some limits. If now the person is lying all day in the bed and has children and like this has to be regulated. But the idea of temporary, because there are phases of temporary phases, must be kept in mind. So the person, it would be very nice if there is a Bretharian who has a partner, that the partner, what he can do is to inform himself a little bit, as to support the other person without needing to break up, without needing to destroy families or everything.
Yes, right. Are you still with your partner?
We are still together, and we are going.
Nice.
Of course, we are undergoing drastical changes, which
yes.
it's not. It doesn't get easy,
No,
it doesn't
it
get easy. But it is manageable. It gets manageable.
Yes, and it gets better, but we have to understand that when we are changing our energetic footprint in our life, that's going to spill over into every single aspect of your life. And we have to be patient too, because we have to understand that we made this choice, we're feeling this, and very likely nobody else is.
So an important thing is that until it reaches a point of integrating, because it's like it's like a baby. You're a newborn person and you have to integrate again family, children, your roles. Now you have to play a role, but you don't feel it anymore. I'm a mother of my children, of course they see me, but now I free myself and them of this concept. So now I give much more space to be how we are. I am unique, they are unique, we are beings, and I know, because now I feel it in myself, I know that they have chosen their life since the moment that they have taken form through birth in this life, the same like I have chosen to be who I am much more before, not now. I didn't actually choose to become who I am. One day I didn't woke up and I said, today I will become this. This is a natural evolution for me. So knowing this about myself, how can I deplete them of this wisdom by treating them as my children who will be and act as how I guide them? No, they have their own unique destiny, which they chosen.
They have to choose. They have to choose themselves as well.
Yeah.
And we have to allow other people to choose as well for themselves. And this is a problem, I think, a problem that I found for myself is that when you do step into this lifestyle, it's so inspiring that, we can feel this new energy in our life, so strong, and we can see it improving our health and maybe removing pain and helping the body heal and, sleeping less and like just supercharged and different passions and desires. And, but this new energy is so inspiring that we're like, you've got to do this. You've got to try this. You need to do that. We may get like this with people around us, and that, as a child gets excited about something new that they have, we can turn other people off by us being so enthusiastic. Or
I think it depends on the type of personality one has. For example, I'm a quite isolated person. I internalize this very much. I experience it on very intimate relationship with myself. So I don't have this. I don't spend time with a lot of people, and I work with some people on this through this journey to assist them. I make some retreats which are very important for me, connected to the space and to the people who really want for all of us to be together. And I don't treat it so much like I don't feel the need to brag myself or to make a lot of commercial or a lot of this all this story. And I also think it is because for me it is natural to be like this. So I don't need to feed myself by having reactions from others or sharing.
Yeah.
I share where it is important. And this, I also think it comes from the fact that it is not the first time when I do this. In this life, it is one experience. But I think I carry inside myself a lineage who already, and I am connected with a lineage throughout history, because I can see the people that I'm connected with, that they appear in my own meditations. So they are beings that somehow they are around me, or I get attracted to them. And I think there is a lineage that I carry within my experience, my entire life experience, that already has been through this many times. There are people who like to, or whose personalities are more outside. And this is also part of their mission, to speak with others, to inform others, so also the field grows like this, and also they grow like this. Everybody grows through so many different ways.
Yes.
Outside. So yeah, but I think it's also important for the ones that they feel that they exaggerate a little bit with their with their enthusiasm and their this, is good to practice selective sharing. But life will teach them, because if you go to everybody and then everybody tells you, no, okay, go, I don't want to listen. Life will teach you by itself to calibrate this, to regulate, and to know how to integrate your social reality with others in such a way that this is very important. And I stress this. This is a message that has to have the core value of inspiring and not freaking out others, has to have the core value of sharing something decent, not becoming a trend, a subculture, or a culture. This is a serious thing. This is about the human evolution, that a person can integrate and can experience a cosmic formation, the formation of the cosmos. This is quantum physics. This involves so many things that it has to have a ratio between professionalism and sensuality in expressing, and real wisdom and real experience, that the message is transmitted in such a way that it is supporting, and it is supporting the others, that they know that it's easy, that they know that it's possible, that they know that it's not a faraway dream that some people don't eat and, a little cult sect. This is a thing that would be very nice to be brought into the mainstream as a possibility. And for this, we have to show that there is integrity, that there is verticality, there is stability, there is, that there is centering in a being. And that means to integrate all the aspects of your life, social, intimate, friendship, so that we become an example of this. We carry all this information within us.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Talking to me about maybe like coffee, alcohol, meat, dairy, cooked foods, fruits. Can you talk about these things and where they play, what role they play?
First, I will speak about my perception from the point that I am, and then I will speak about perception from the rational point of view. I will speak about nourishment, and I will speak also about cosmic lessons. So the perspective that I have is that for me, food doesn't exist. What exists are species that we consume for our own benefit. In the lack of a knowledge of energy management, and in the lack of a knowledge of our own needs outside of the concepts and structures, because we don't know what we need without structures and concepts. And that is a journey to find out what you need if there is nothing. What makes you full, what fills you.
Not what we've been told, not what we've learned from our whole life, not from our social programming, not from what we think, but what is actually what we need.
Yeah. So in the lack of this, we may see food as this is for us. But from my perspective, there is food frequency, and any food, doesn't matter what, is food frequency, is consuming frequency, because we believe we have to. So meat, fruits, everything, from my perspective at this moment, is linear, has the same, absolutely the same frequency. But now this is for me. for most of the people, they believe that there are, and this goes into the rationality, this goes into what I call nutrition. And these are lessons. You know, like in a curriculum, nutrition has many lessons. And you can select it on carnivore, so animal species, then you can select it on plant species and on fungi species. This is all the species that exist. And plant species has subspecies. On a nutritional level, people believe that food, depending on density, depending on more heavy up to more light, gives them different levels of energy. I say that even this, it is wrongly understood, because we understand, as I think you know, because you have read and you are up to date with Arnold Deret. So this is a wrong understanding of what metabolism is. We believe that metabolism is converting other species into energy for our own nutrition, but metabolism happens because we eat, we eliminate. When we eliminate, there is a lot of processes which are not pleasant and come with pain, with everything. And because we eliminate, in order to stop this whole process, we eat again. This is metabolism. The energy that we get, these are your children, no? Hello, children. The energy that we get, actually, that's why people feel that on meat, they get less energy, you know, they are heavy, and on fruit, they get less. Why? Because when you eat meat has a specific, I call it matrix algorithm. It has a specific creation. If it would be to say, you just take a bowl and you make a lot of energy lines. Many, and they are like this. It's like a ball of, you know, interlaced. That is heavy density. The creation of it is very heavy. Has many lines, many
bonds. It has many chemical bonds. It's very material. It's very structural. It's very elemental. Yes.
And because of this, when you put it into your body, this obstructs the prana, which anyway it flows all the time through you. And that's why you feel you have less energy. When you eat fruits, when you move towards more refined, what I told you, the refinement from dense to very light.
Easily digested, lighter food, easily digested, doesn't linger in the body as long. It's eliminated quicker. It moves through the body much quicker.
And of course, you feel you have more energy, but not because the fruits give you energy, but because the prana has space to flow, the prana enters. So that's why I say no food has energy. Food has a special matrix algorithm that can obstruct more or less the pranic flow.
That's very important. So it's actually the prana. It's the energy within. It's the light within. It's the love within. It's the inner child. It's the collective consciousness. It's the giant within. It's that inner power. That's the power that we need to tap into. That's the power that gives rise to us. And it's the foods that actually obstruct us from getting at that power and that energy. And when we unfood, when we take the food away, we have greater access to that power because it's unobstructed contact to that power. Except we have this habitual thought, we have this behavior, we have what we've learned, what we think is the truth, that we must eat, that we need to get our health from food. And because of this, we're ravenous for food. On top of that thought, there's also likely even some entity in the body, parasite, fungus, yeast, candida, things that are driving the system to eat, things that are craving food, and that's on top of the psychological change. So this is a psychological change, a conscious choice, and then also an elimination of obstruction from the body that allows us to connect to the true source energy within us, and then we come to know the true self. This is how we come to learn and love the true self. This is being of the self. This is being.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Very nice, very nice. I am feeling in direct contact with you.
And look, now even now after officially 5 months of being in this journey, I still have phases of very deep detox, which are not necessarily pleasant. But there is it still goes on. And
even after being empty for 10 days.
Yeah. Even after being empty for 2 weeks, I still have. So it goes on for some. I don't know until when.
Yeah.
But
a long time.
But I think there are still some stuff to be eliminated.
Yes.
Yeah. But what keeps me now, for example, is a special trust and a special patience that, now I know it's like this. Now I know I'm not gonna die. Now I know I just have to go over this. Now I don't get scared because of the symptoms, and I just know that it will pass and it will become better. And one day I will not feel uncomfortable anymore.
So you get to these uncomfortable periods, but every time you go through that, you break through, and it's like a new light, a new level, a new energy that comes into the life, and you're like, oh my gosh, more consciousness, more prana, more energy flowing through me now, more greater awareness, a closer, more intimate contact with the self. Can I ask, when you go 10 days without eating or 2 weeks without eating, and then you eat, what do you feel happens when you eat? Do you feel like that helps your body eliminate some waste? Do you feel that helps your body break through? Do you feel that there's a lift in energy? Do you feel there's a lower in energy? Do you feel it makes you sleep? Do you feel it makes you energized? What does it do for you after 10 days or 2 weeks without eating?
So I have to say, in the first, so this goes on for 5 months. Before that, in the last 2 years, I was just eating 1 meal a day, then went deep into fasting, then water fasting, then just fruits. It was a lot of calibration in the first 1 year, let's say, or in the first
for me now. That's happening for me now. A lot of this 5 days empty, 4 days empty, 3 days empty, eating once a day, eating just fruits, just doing liquids, just sometimes like inspired to do this, and just being felt from inside to, I feel like I need to eliminate right now, and actually eating fruit helps my body eliminate right now, and then that goes away, and then I don't want to eat again, and I don't want to eat for 3 or 4 or 5 days.
But from the moment of there is a moment which it's clear that it's real transition, because I felt how the modus of operating has changed, and how I felt it is that the energy that I was getting into my body one night, it was so strong that it went out through the feet, and I felt how I am creating a biological loop feedback with the entire earth. So then I became a human on earth. Then I descended from my point of view, and I ascended out, and from then I was not alone anymore into this journey. Okay, I calibrate, I eat, I clean. No. From that moment, I have become one with my environment, and I have accepted to nourish and to be part of this cycle. So that was the moment when, for me, I knew it is my real transition because my modus of operation changed. And also I knew that I have been offered my stabilization through this. That means that the energy managed to get out of me and entered into the environment. So I started to to make emissions into the environment, not only for myself and my own experience. So that was when I knew it's the transition and stabilization. And from that moment, it started from 3 days, then sometimes 1 week, then sometimes 10 days, then 2 weeks, then again, maybe 2 times a week, depending on stuff. But in the beginning, it was not so clear what happened after I eat, because it was everything very instinctual, very intuitive. But what was important, it was a decision. Each time when I was feeling something, I knew if it's from somebody else, because for example, my partner was entering in the room full famished, very hungry, and I also felt, all this, and I knew this was not my impulse. This is not my hunger. This comes from outside, and I never accepted to act upon the other people's electromagnetical waves. I only decided to assist myself and to ask myself, is this what you want now? Is this what you really want, or you want something else? You want to stay with yourself now, retreat and understand why you feel this sensation, or you want to share it? You want to share this apple with your son, or you want to eat this juice because you like it, to drink this juice because you like it. And I always did things out of joy. This has become my new rule. Joy had to be there, never inner conflicts, and never too fast. If it would have been too fast, like an impulse, like a animalic instinct, I would have refused and I would have went to retreat. So because there was always joy, didn't matter so much what I was eating, because I was eating in peace with myself. But as I have advanced and my sensitivity became higher and higher, actually, I only wanted to eat bread. And only croissant, nothing more, just croissant. I don't understand exactly why, but now I have a feeling that I was actually choosing to eat when my energy was becoming so high that it was very difficult for me to connect with the outer world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I was entering in very deep meditational states.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was everything becoming, I was feeling very unified with all, but also in the same time very far away.
Awesome.
So
Awesome sharing.
so because of this, I was eating, I think I was choosing to eat croissant because the grain is grounding you very much, and it immediately stops.
Yes.
It covers all the pores inside our body, so the body cannot breathe anymore.
And it shuts
So
down and it sleeps. You find your sleep then, and you slow down. You get sluggish. You're cloudy. But for some reason, you wanted to do that.
for me, with my very high state of energy, I was not managed to getting sluggy or something. I was just managing to get again practical, and to calm down a little bit and
Slow
manage
down
to
a little
deal
bit.
a little bit. Yeah.
Slow down
So
a
that's
little
why
bit.
I think I was choosing croissants. After that, but I have to tell you, the next day, I mean,
Yeah.
emotional and practical was okay, but the next day, mucus was coming. I had fever.
Yeah.
It was it was nothing.
Yes, I know.
And you should see me in the kitchen with the croissant with my eyes closed, also because my throat is quite dry. I don't have so much saliva. It took me to eat one croissant 20 minutes. And I stay with the croissant with my eyes closed, and I
And you enjoy it.
because
You enjoy it.
yeah, but it's also difficult to eat it, you know, so it's long and meditational
But you
and
wanted,
enjoy.
but you wanted to, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like.
But after that, I said, okay, still I eat on what I want. The truth is I only wanted croissant. So I said, no, I change. Now I don't need instinct anymore. Now I can go to experiments. So I have decided now to follow a protocol. I don't know if I actually have a feeling I will not. I decided to follow a protocol to eat at 10 days, but I think I will not feel at 10 days. I will feel a little bit later. Maybe this is what is my feeling, that maybe I will eat at 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And I have decided to only consume light things, but tasty things, like watermelon or a good mango or a papaya.
Nice,
And this is what I have decided now to experiment, because my body still needs to clean.
Yes.
And I would like to help him to clean without feeling, you know, actually without going against him, just for my own. I know I can eat, you know, I know I'm free to eat, there is no problem. But now I want to choose what, and I am in my ability and in my capacity to choose what.
Nice. Nice. Sunlight, grounding.
I like the sun very much, but I don't do sun gazing because I'm not into this.
Mm-hmm.
But I am also quite sensitive at temperature. So if it's a little bit windy or like this, I mean, I accept it, but I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But when there is sun, you know, I just sit there and it's full warming my body and my face and everything. I love it very much. It is a very gentle consciousness, also very strong, and has the ability to, I don't know if it charges or not, because I don't function in this paradigm that I collect from the environment. We will speak maybe a little bit later about what really nourishes me, so I don't cultivate energy from the environment. But the sun for me, it is like a lover, you know. It is it is like fire and gentle, and I love very much, and I cannot wait to go to a place where it's warm, and I hope to relocate to a place where it's warm so I can every day stay a little bit in the sun.
Nice.
And grounding, I think it grounds, but in the sense that when you're under the sun, all the problems are away, you know. It's so overwhelming and it's so going everywhere into your pores that what there is more to do, you know, you just surrender, relax, and you enjoy. Yeah. So for this reason, I think it is grounding. Yeah.
You don't put your feet on the ground, bare feet on the ground, or actually connect with, you know, physically touching nature, or you don't find any.
If I feel like, yes, but I personally don't do any practice. I don't have any practice that I maintain day by day.
No exercise, no breath work.
No. If I feel like, yes. If I don't know.
Awesome.
No, because you know why? Because this is our natural state. This is absolutely natural. And for a person who will be in this journey, many times these practices will occupy the real unfolding of this we are part of the cosmos. We are not different. So there is no need to schedule practices. Maybe they can help.
You can get too attached to the practices. As you know, I did this practice, so why am I not getting the result? Because it's not the practice, it's actually the contact with the prana. It's actually the being. And this happens actually in just the meditation. the meditation, just the self-awareness, and the consciousness, the freeing up of the agitated thought, the quieting of the mind, and being in the quietness in between thoughts. So just the peacefulness and allowing that energy, the true energy of you to actually move around the body, because that's what actually heals, is that chronic white light energy within you. And
this is what I would say. If there is a practice that I do, is that I try to, when I forget, I try to remember that my whole life through a day, it is like a meditation. I have to try to assist myself as much as possible from a place where there is silence. So it's not me who does the things, it is a higher consciousness, much more simple, and also we could say complex, that solves all the problems of what you have to do, how you have to do in order to get optimum being, optimum health. We are already that. It's just to give space and to give time through silence to witness this thing and just go be with it. This is my practice. This is, for example, what I call love. It's not always functioning because I get stressed, of course. There are many things, but when I forget, I try to always come back to this place.
Excellent. Okay, just a couple more things. I don't want to keep you too much longer. You said you were breastfeeding on those 9 days that you were not eating food. Were you able to manifest milk for your baby still?
At that time, he didn't have to be breastfed so much because he was 1.5 years, so he was already going into solids.
Okay.
But because I didn't understood exactly what was this pranic connections on, of course, my milk supply decreased a little bit. But now, for example, with my second son, has been months that my milk supply has been there, it didn't changed, and but of course there were things that I was doing whenever I was breastfeeding. I was always connecting with the prana. I was always offering to him also what I have in me. So I was not only giving him milk, but I was giving him the milk full of this vibration. So he knows that it's not only the milk that is nourishing him, but it is also this act of love that I transfer to him through my pranic connection. So I wanted him to get aware of this reality. I don't know if he did or not, but this made my milk supply to not change.
Interesting. So all of that stuff about even like needing to take these vitamins and take all these certain foods that you have to take because you're breastfeeding, you don't need to do that.
If you are afraid, but that if you are on a rational modus, maybe you need to, if you decide to not eat, if you decide to enter in a fasting mode, yes. But if you are beyond rational level, there's imagination plays such an important role, and belief and trust plays such an important role, that in the end you understand as a mother that breastfeeding is just a simple act of love. This is what the baby understands. The babies, it's about love. They don't grow necessarily through they also maybe grow because they don't know, but they grow also through milk, but also through the love inside the milk. That's why it's always good for mothers who breastfeed to calm down and meditate when they breastfeed, or just don't get stressed or on the phone or whatever, to be in peace, because this all gets transmitted to the baby. It's not just a physical act.
Wonderful. What about the pregnancy? Were you eating during the pregnancy?
During my second pregnancy, it was actually, this is where my entire calibration happened. When I got pregnant with my second son, The first 1 or 2 months, I had morning sickness from morning till night, full. It was horrible. Until I didn't shift completely to raw, it didn't stop. I shifted completely to raw. And then because I moved to a warm country where there was abundance of fruits, I was naturally eating just 1 time a day and just some juices in between. And yeah, I was eating very little. It was all okay. So this is for me was a pranic pregnancy, because my son, a pregnancy is not just a mother, it's a relationship in between a mother and a baby. My son was aware of this. So my son helped me to refine myself very good, to prepare myself, so that even after birth, I shift completely 2 or 3 months only on fruits, started with smoothies and ending up in very clear juices. So this was a very big calibration, very big refinement through the entire pregnancy. I had no problems, no vitamin deficits. I was to the doctor just very little. And my birth happened in 3 hours, non-complicated at home, unassisted medically. So it was all, all in flow.
So, Maria, I have detained you for over an hour now. I very much appreciated this time. I think the message that I'm hearing, and I think the message that I want to share, I think it's so inconsistent, so consistent with what I'm feeling, is that what we're dealing with here is the authentic self. This is the healer. This is the magic. This is the power within that allows us to lose weight, fix our relationships, step into our abundance, change any aspect of our life, heal any disease, do anything that we really want to. And we just need to get out of this ego mind, this subconscious programming, and learn how to integrate this true self into unity with the identity that we put out. So it's like a reprogramming of the subconscious mind with the new feelings and sensations and energy that we have within. That the new person is like completely integrated with this deeper, true energy of self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I look forward to connecting with you again and following up maybe another 6 months or so. We get together again. I'll follow up with you again. I love getting the time to share with you. It's so lifting for me. It's so satisfying for me, so nurturing for me to have someone that really understands and is talking the same language as me, because I feel like I'm constantly in contact with people all day long. And God bless the people, and I'm so thankful for the people that I do have around me. But feeling like they're not understanding me. I'm alone.
Yeah, that is a thing many of us, I think we have to deal and go through. Yeah. I thank you also, John, very much.
Thank you, Maria.
Wish you a good day, and we hear each other next time.
Yes, thank you.